Hello, if you are new here, I am Cassidy and welcome to my channel. I talk a lot about feeling more beautiful and confident, self-love, creating a life that you love, all that good kind of stuff. So if you want more content, subscribe to my channel. Today I'm talking about self-love and I love this topic. I think it's so important. I want for every woman in the world to love herself and feel confident in herself, embrace who she is, and just have a great, healthy relationship with herself. So that's kind of my intention with this video, is to help as many people as I can kind of learn something new about that. And if this video even just touches one person, that's totally worth it to me. I love seeing more about this on the internet and social media. I love that it's getting to be a bigger topic. The thing is sometimes when people are talking about self-care and self-love, it's kind of the more superficial, surface level kind of stuff. And I think all that stuff is great. I love beauty and all of those good things. But self-love is really deeper than that, and it's more than bath bombs and painting your nails. So I want to get a little bit deeper. Some of it's going to be like simple concepts that you are like practical ways you can add it to your routine. And then some things I'm going to go a little bit deeper, and I hesitated to include it, but I just feel like if we're talking about self-care, self-love, that it was just really crucial and kind of foundation elements to it. So if you need to kind of start with some of the lighter stuff, if you need to come back and revisit this video, that's okay. You can work in baby steps. You can do this on your timeline, and it's gonna be a journey. So it's okay if some of these things take time. So we're diving deeper. It's not just surface level. This is like mind, body, and soul. Love yourself on all levels. First thing I have for you is to set time for yourself. The goal is to have time that you set aside just for you every day. So this can look different for everyone. It can be 5 minutes, 15 minutes, it can be an hour, but I want you to like schedule time in your schedule, whether you need to like type it into your calendar on your phone, whatever you need to do. But it's just so important to have time in your day where you are filling your cup so that you can do what you need to do and be who you need to be during the day. So this can be time to do something that you love. For me, I love doing my makeup every day. I get up a little bit earlier than my baby wakes up, and it's time where I can listen to music or I can listen to a podcast, and I can take my time, do my makeup, and I don't have to worry about chasing him around or chasing him with the brushes that he's stealing from me. It could be free, like I also am getting more into exercise, and that's something that just feels really great to spend that time on myself. So it can be a hobby, it can be a sport, it can be painting. Also, it could just be time to just be like quiet and relax and to just be still, which this leads into number 2, which is implement meditation into your routine. Meditation is amazing. Whether you've tried it or not, it's a great thing to implement into your daily routine. There's like so much evidence out there about how beneficial meditation is, and it is beneficial on like so many layers and in different ways. I couldn't really even to begin to like tell you how beneficial it could be for you, but it's just great to quiet the mind, to kind of center yourself, find some peace. But there's all kinds of different meditations out there. You could start small and just kind of work your way up. There's apps like Calm and Headspace where you can start with like 2-minute meditations, and it's just starting of observing your thoughts, just being still, and then you can kind of dive in deeper. If you're really wanting to focus on self-love, you could like Google or YouTube self-love guided meditations. But even if it's just like 10 minutes a day, that's just a great way to kind of find like peace in your life and with who you are. And I just really couldn't recommend it more. It's done so much for me. So Number 3 is to focus on the things you love about yourself. I talk a little bit about this in my How to Be Confident video. And when we're talking about confidence and self-love, there definitely is some like overlapping with these concepts, but I want you to focus on the things that you love about yourself. You have a relationship with yourself, just like you do with everyone else around you. And just like married couples go to counseling and they are advised to point out the things that they love about their spouse and to focus on those things, it can transform their relationship, and it's the same concept for you. The first part of this is just to become aware. We have really negative thoughts about ourselves, and if you haven't been like aware and paying attention to what those thoughts are and that voice in your head, you maybe haven't even like realized that you're so hard on yourself and that you're telling yourself these things. So first is to just kind of become aware and pay attention to the things that you tell yourself and the thoughts that you have about yourself. A practical thing you can do is to write out like 100 things that you love about yourself, your 100 favorite things, and this will be hard for sure. If do what you can to like sit down, grab a notebook right now, sit down and try to write 100 things that you like about yourself. It can be physical, it can be personality traits, characteristics, all the things. Just try to push through it, but even if you can just start with like 5 things a day, write just 5 things today, come back if you're blocked, come back, write 5 more things. But we want to train our brain, and it goes down onto like a subconscious level. We have a subconscious mind that believes certain things about ourselves that just aren't true, that we've just been telling ourselves forever. And so this is the beginning of retraining that loop in our mind, and that's kind of how we can get started. Another thing you can do is write some of those things that you love about yourself and put it on your, like a post-it, and put it on your mirror. Also, like, you can tell yourself these things looking at yourself in a mirror, and that's like, it's really powerful. Next, we have establishing boundaries. This was a really hard thing for me. I am a people pleaser. It's really hard for me to say no. I just want to make people comfortable. I don't want to make people feel awkward. And there's just been lots of times where I should have just said no, but instead I just like drain myself and I do things I did things I just did not want to do, but I just felt obligated. So it's really just important that you have boundaries for yourself, that you know you just don't cross those boundaries, you don't let other people cross those boundaries. You can think of them as like personal policies too. So this can be all kinds of things, but I mean, you can just have things that it's okay to say no. If there's something that you just know you really just don't want to do, that's something someone's asking you to do, that you really don't have your time in your day, and it's going to drain you to try and push the stuff that you need to do for yourself, just to fit in something you don't want to do. So it can just be saying no when you don't want to do something. It can be people that you don't let people cross certain boundaries with you. You don't let people treat you a certain way. If there's a specific person that you let back into your life, you can have a boundary of, I'm not letting this person into my life anymore. If there's someone that is a part of your life that's like a family member that you really feel like you can't cut out, it can just be setting boundaries of, I only see this person on these occasions, and when I see this person, I only allow these type of conversations. So that's something that you're gonna really have to pay attention to, where you are letting boundaries slide too much, the parts of yourself that you are letting get too chaotic, or you're letting toxic people manipulate you. So you're gonna have to pay attention to what those things are for you and create these boundaries for yourself. This is where we kind of starting to get into deeper things, but I just wanted to touch on this because it's just crucial for loving yourself. This is let go of habits that aren't serving you. Easier said than done, right? This is going to be a process. You're going to have to be patient with yourself throughout this, but start becoming aware, paying attention to the things that you are doing maybe on a daily basis, but these are just things that are habits that aren't serving you. Maybe you have really like sabotaging tendencies. Maybe you have just toxic habits that are harmful. And maybe you have some that you aren't really aware of. Maybe it's more on a subtle, um, it's more subtle for you. And it can be something like maybe you have codependent tendencies and you put your worth too much with someone else's opinion or that they're in your life and your identity revolves around them. I don't know. It's just an example at the top of my head. But start paying attention to those things. And again, just like the thoughts that we were talking about, just become aware at first of what are those things for you that you're starting to see there's a pattern where you start sabotaging yourself or you're doing something that's harmful to you. And try to replace it with good habits. And you can just work in baby steps. This is not going to change overnight. You've probably had some of these habits for a while, so you're going to have to kind of be patient with yourself, but make that an intention and a focus that you are going to replace those with better habits and that you're going to let go of those bad habits that you have. This leads into my next one, which is to forgive yourself. If you have some of those things that you don't like about yourself, that you are hard about yourself for doing, you need to let go and forgive yourself. A lot of times with like these bad habits and these things that we want to change about ourselves, a lot of times we can connect them with shame. We start feeling shame that we struggle with certain things, and shame, like out of all of the emotions and feelings, it's like one of the very lowest vibrationally. Shame can take us to a dark place. It can really just make us hard on ourselves. It can make us want to keep things a secret because we're ashamed that anyone knows. And it can just lead to a dark spiral. So we want to avoid shame. We want to get to a higher place, like acceptance. So we need to forgive ourselves. If there's something that we're hard on ourselves that we have done to someone else, you can start with focusing on what you can do to resolve that situation, to give them an apology, if there's something you can do to make amends. And then whether or not they forgive you, that doesn't matter, but it's that you can forgive yourself and let it go. Again, I know that this is one of those things that's easier said than done. It's one of those things that can be a journey. It can take time. Some people, it takes them years to finally let go of things. But if you can just make that an intention for you, that you are giving yourself grace. And one way we can do this is by telling ourselves a different story. We tell ourselves stories all the time and we just believe them as truth. One of the stories you can be telling yourself is that you suck at this and this and this, and you find that you're, hard on yourself because you did this and this and this wrong. And we need to change that story and accept a new story that is something to the effect of, I am a work in progress. I'm doing the best that I can. I did the best that I could at that time and in that situation, and I learned from it. I am constantly learning and growing. I'm improving every day. I'm a work in progress. Start changing to that kind of story, that you're not expecting perfection. We're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for progress. So that can be a story you tell yourself that kind of gets you into that place where you can start be more loving to yourself and let go of some of those things. This one is appreciate your body. The exercise that you can do to help yourself with this is to name every part of your body and say thank you. So it's kind of cheesy, you might feel kind of silly, but it just totally frames things like your body in a new light, and it can be really powerful. Start with your toes. Thank you, toes. Go to your feet. Thank you, feet. go to your ankles, go to your legs, and say thank you for supporting me and getting me to where I need to go. And just start working your way up, thanking yourself for your vital organs. Like, when's the last time you thanked your heart for beating and pumping blood to everywhere you need to feed your body? Our bodies are just incredible, and that can create a healthy relationship with your body and just put you in that space of gratitude and love for all the incredible things that your body is doing. And then, yeah, we're getting deep with this last one. I wasn't sure if I wanted to include this, but it's just been a huge thing in my life that's just been this huge foundation. I feel like it's a foundation for like this, all of this. And I'm taking you to church for a minute, but this is to keep an eternal perspective. So hang on with me for a minute. I'm going to explain what that means to me. Keeping an eternal perspective is to remind myself, like when things get hard, when I go through some of those hard times, when I start getting hard on myself, when I'm battling things within myself, when I start nitpicking things that I don't like about me, when I just start getting to some of those hard, dark places, I bring myself back to this perspective, which is you are a divine being with inherent worth. You are an eternal being with no beginning and no end. You have divine purpose, and you have an inherent worth that nothing in this world, no materials, no like fancy house, no one's opinion affects your worth. You are invaluable, and you are here on purpose, and you have a purpose. And I can totally dive deep into that. But if you can just remember that, when you can bring yourself back to that perspective when you're going through those hard times, that you are here on purpose, you are lovable, you have worth, you have a mission and a purpose on this earth that no one else has, and you have infinite potential. When you can come back to that thought, it can just bring you out of those deep, dark places and those times in our life. And we can't really fully grasp that concept with our mortal minds, but if you can just remind yourself of that perspective and just ponder it and try and let it soak in and just try and grasp and understand that. So that is what I have for you today about self-love. If you haven't already, please subscribe because I'll have more content like this coming for you. I hope that this has helped you, and I just hope that you can start on your journey to loving yourself, and you're an incredible, unique person, and you just deserve to celebrate who you are and love yourself. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. Leave me your thoughts. I would love to read them. And thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.